Mommispace, a place where you can remember who you are in the midst of it all. This podcast gives moms of all stages a voice to share their experiences and the truth that there is no right way to mom. Welcome back to Mommispace. I'm here today with Erin Chadwick. Erin, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yay. Fun fact, we tried doing this interview quite a while ago, and
Yes.
you know how mom life goes. So I'm excited to do this again, but Erin actually was pregnant with her third, and he is now how old?
9 months.
Yeah, crazy. I'm just so excited to talk to you today. I know you through Deanna and also your husband and through Gospel House stuff. And I'm just so excited to talk to you today about your motherhood journey. So
Yes.
kind of before we dive in, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, where you're located, and a little bit about daily life.
Yes. So married to Cameron, and we have 3 kiddos. Cora is 5, Zoe is 3, and Jack is 9 months, crawling the stairs, and
Oh my gosh.
things are getting crazy, you know. Cora just started kindergarten.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm homeschooling, so
Wow.
that's been a trip. But we live in Dana Point. It's actually cool. My kindergartner, they're learning about kindergarten's like all about me and my world. So we've been exploring Dana Point quite a bit because she's learning her city, and I'm like, dang, I can't believe we live here.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it makes me appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, homeschooling and all. That's pretty incredible.
Yes.
Well, can you kind of tell us the journey, your journey into motherhood, kind of how that played out for you? And I mean, you can share even like with all 3, like what that looked like, and were you guys trying to have kids at the beginning? Just kind of dive in.
Yes. So, Cam and I got married the summer before his senior year of college, and I still had like more than that left. And Cora is our honeymoon baby.
Wow. Oh my
So
gosh.
we were definitely open to kids, but we also didn't expect to get pregnant that soon. So there was an hour of crying and like, God, I thought you knew what I wanted. Like, what's going on? And then that was it. And then we were just excited after that.
Wow.
So then, I mean, once we had her, I knew that I wanted to have a lot of kids. And Cameron was down too. We were just honestly pretty young and ambitious, and we're like, okay, well, let's just go for it and have kids. I nursed for a year, got pregnant, nursed for a year, got pregnant. So with Jack now, it's been really interesting. It's the first time that I feel like we've really had to like slow down in other areas of our lives and be like, okay, if we're gonna really steward our family well, and make that a priority, then we're going to have to say no to other things. So last time I talked to you, we were part of Gospel House, which we love and we still love, and we're still friends. I still hang out with Dee all the time, but we stepped out of leadership from there just because we were like, you know what? We just want to be more intentional, and this is our ministry right now, and this is the season, which is definitely hard because
totally, wow,
you know, it's our first time really in our marriage where we haven't been a part of any organized ministry kind of thing.
Wow.
So, but when we first had Jack, and you know, all the grandmas and everyone was up, we got some time by ourselves just to be with the Lord and be with this new baby. And I just felt like God was saying, I'm like, hey, what's this new season? What are we going to do? What do you have for us? And
Mm.
he's like, do family well and do friendship well. And
Mm.
from those things, like the thing, quote, ministry is going to happen
Yeah.
in the middle of that. And it really has, like, just being able to
Yeah.
have people over for dinner or really building friendships. Like, we have no commitments right now. So that
Mm.
allows us the freedom to be really intentional with the people that we want to build our life with and build
Mm.
like our kids' friendships with, even,
Yeah. Wow.
So
That's amazing.
that's been a big new thing.
Wow. I actually really love that. And just even that picture of family being ministry. And for those that are listening that don't really understand fully what that means, could you kind of explain what that means to you guys in this season, like what that fully looks like,
Yeah.
some of the practical things that you do,
Yes. Yes.
etc.
Yes. So, and this will probably help too, but Gospel House is it's set up so Friday nights is kind of like a big worship night. We would go, as leaders, we'd go, talk to a bunch of people, kind of pray with them, um, or minister them in whatever way that looked like. And then someone would give a word, and then we'd have like an hour of worship, and then at the end we do this little mini class of teaching people how to hear God's
Mm.
voice. So it
Mm.
was very, like, not super structured, but it was specific, I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now ministry would come in the form of teaching our own kids to hear God, or
Mm.
me and Cameron sewing into learning how to be parents. You have a kid and you're like, yes, and then you have two kids, you're like, oh, I got this. You have three kids. I'm like, okay, I don't know anything right now. I need help. This is not working. This is not working. So we, like, you know, kind of invested in more books and even this like curriculum, and we kind of just together committed like one night a week to invest into learning more about the parents we want to be, whether that's
Mm.
praying for each other and being like, okay, hey, with this kid, this isn't working. Or, hey, let's like prophesy over our kids and pray for our kids. Or going through a book together. Right now we're going through Win-Win Parenting by Seth Dahl.
Oh, cool.
And a little plug right there for him because he's
Yeah.
amazing. He was the children's pastor at Bethel Church for a long time. And he has a bunch of great stuff, but that's one of his newer books. So, like, it's ministry to our kids that we're investing in that and changing the things that we don't like or that we don't see good fruit coming from in our lifestyle. And then another thing too is, like, even just with our own family and parents, like, we have siblings who are all going through their own lives and being like, hey, this is really important. I know it seems like a lot, but I feel like I need to be there for my sister. You take all the kids, and I'm going to go get coffee. Or we still do that with one-on-one relationships, if you want to call it discipleship or whatever. But, and then, like I said, on a bigger scale, like ministry in the sense of being intentional and spending time, choosing to take a Saturday to spend a chunk of time with a family who we want to really build like that,
Mm.
our lives with,
Mm-hmm.
and hanging out with their kids and making dinner together, and kids are screaming and it's totally messy and it looks nothing like what we used to do on a Friday night. But one of our friends recently went through a really hard time when they had their second baby wasn't healthy, and we went over to their house and ministry looked like just crying with them, like
Mm.
sitting on their couch. And whereas I feel like when we were committed to something, like it would have been so hard to pull away to
Mm.
be
Mm-hmm.
available for that,
Mm. Yeah.
not like one is
Wow.
better than the other. That's just what I feel like we're investing into right now is
Yeah.
honestly just relationships across the board.
Yeah. Wow. That's so powerful though. So like how has it felt for you in this transition? Like you mentioned feeling a little overwhelmed with
Yeah.
kid number
Yep.
3. Like how have you kind of processed with that like in the day-to-day?
Yes. I mean, even just like with the first kid, it's kind of like learn as you go. There's not really a manual for
Mm.
it. So
Mhm.
I definitely that third week, when the husband goes to work, I remember that the first week he was at work, I remember being like, oh my God. I was like nursing baby, trying to
Oh
make
my
mac and
gosh.
cheese, and then like my other kid is throwing a tantrum.
Oh
It's
my
just one of those
goodness.
climactic moments.
Wow.
And just kind of laughing and being like,
Yeah.
everyone's going to be okay. This feels like the world is falling apart, but people have more kids than me, and it's going to be
Wow.
okay. So I
Wow.
think humor is
Yeah.
a great thing to have as a mom, because there is sometimes when it is all out of your control. It really is. And it's
Yeah.
not our job to control our kids. It's our job to empower them. So, um,
That's good.
having humor is a great tool for me.
Yeah.
Or in an Instagram story, one of my kids, throws flour all over the floor. I'm like, I'm just going to document how hilarious this is
Yes.
instead of getting pissed off about it.
Oh, that's a great tool, actually.
Right?
I used to like love when my friends would post pictures of their kids crying and then post about why they're crying.
Hmm.
And I'm just now experiencing that a little bit with Bobby, and it just brings so much joy to my life. I didn't realize how much, she's crying because I won't let her hold her poopy diaper,
Yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. That's great. Um, so, what are some things like in this stage that are bringing you joy? Like some things that you need for just you to take care
Yes.
of yourself, to take care of your heart in the midst of all the change.
Yes, totally. Um, I think that's another really, really important thing, that I talked about this when we first recorded, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
repeat it, but
Yes, please.
cool. So taking care of me, definitely have learned that so much, like loving myself and the self-care thing. Oh my goodness, like
Yeah.
definitely have way more intentional than I ever have been in my life about that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but one thing that when I was pregnant, one of our best friends, Nicholas Howard, really helped me. I don't know, just it kind of sorted out my life in a lot of aspects. But he was like, okay, what are your priorities in your life? Which, of course, most of us would be like, God, marriage, family,
Mm-hmm.
friends, job, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then what are your commitments? And make a list of the commitments you have in your life, like how much time or money or even like your thought life that you're
Mm-hmm.
investing. What are
Wow.
you committing yourself to? And how many of your commitments are lined up with those top three priorities?
Wow.
Because a lot of times, you know, in even with ministry type stuff, my top three priorities, God, myself, I would even say myself, my
Yeah. Yeah.
marriage, my kids. Well, I was doing a bunch of ministry stuff or even meeting up with other people and everything, but I was like, oh, I don't have time to like get in the word, or I don't have
Mm.
time to,
Mm-hmm.
paint or whatever was my outlet for
Right.
creativity, or you know what I mean? Things like that with my
Yes. That's
kids. I'm
so
like,
good.
totally, I go to the park or whatever with my kids, but I'm meeting up with someone and not really paying attention to them
Mm.
versus like
Mm.
setting my kids up for success by bringing them somewhere I know they're going to thrive instead of pulling in my
Mm.
leg while I'm trying to have a conversation.
Sure.
Um,
Wow.
so that really readjusted like how I think about life and stuff. Like, I fill in the things we're doing as a family on my calendar first, and our date night and my night off where Cam will put the kids to sleep and I either go hang out with a girlfriend or go out by myself and get alone time or whatever.
Yeah.
And then whatever there's room for anything else, you know, we fill that in. But that definitely means saying no to stuff. Birthday
Yeah.
parties
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
hanging out with so and so, or and I think I've just learned like that's okay, because if I don't
Yeah.
prioritize myself, I'm not going to be as good of a wife, and I'm not going to be as good of
Yeah.
a daughter to God. I'm not going to be as good of a
Yeah.
mom. I'm going to be annoyed with everyone, you know?
Totally.
So,
Uh,
versus me trying to get me time like in the midst of everyone, because then,
mm,
you know, they do end
yeah.
up being
Yeah.
annoying, and it's not their fault,
Mm-hmm.
but you're like, I'm trying to do something here and you're constantly interrupted, you know?
Mm, yeah.
So
Yeah, that's so
I
good.
think just for time wise, because for moms, I think that's the hardest thing is finding time, right, to do that.
Yeah.
And so talking with your husband, fitting it in, and giving him that too. My husband loves to surf,
Mm,
and so me being like on a Saturday, being like, okay, go, like go, sneak away,
yeah.
get 2 hours, go do it. It's fine. I'll be fine. And I know you're gonna come back refreshed
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
stoked to be you climbed
Yes.
on, you know?
Yes. Oh,
So for me, it's
that's so
been
good.
anything creative, like any kind of art kind of stuff, or like, you know, we'll put the kids to sleep and, or my husband will go out with a friend or whatever. And I will like, okay, have you seen those like surreal art collages? Like any art
Yeah.
like that? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I love that
You guys
stuff.
I totally just
Oh,
dove into it. So I've been like cutting up
no
magazines
way.
and like
Yes.
photos and everything.
That's the best.
Yeah. So that's just or we also discovered iSpa, like the Irvine Spa. Have you heard of that?
Ooh,
It's a
no.
Korean spa and you need to go there.
Oh my gosh,
And it's
yes. That sounds
$25
amazing.
for like the whole day, and you just
You're
hop from
kidding.
hot to cold. There's like a salt room, a clay room.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
I'm like gonna look that up like right after
you
this
should.
because my husband and I would dig
Yes,
that.
and it's I warn you, locker room and jacuzzi area like are separate, men and women, and
Okay.
everyone's butt naked. So,
Okay.
but
Good to
I
know.
think it's great because I'm a little hippie.
Yes, I love
So,
it. Oh, that's great.
yeah. So, but
Oh,
those are just some things for loving myself and
mm,
buying
that's
myself,
so
you know, some
good.
good smelling shampoo or something. I don't know.
Yes. Well, I love even just what you mentioned at the beginning, your friend having you list out those different things, your priorities and commitments, and
Yes.
how they line up is a really easy beginning to figuring out what you need to say yes or no to if that's an area that you're struggling to kind of hone in on
Yeah.
or protect.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I love that. That was so good. I'm gonna try and do that too later.
Yes, girl.
That's really awesome. So good. Okay, so have you experienced mom guilt in your journey so far?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, like, what are some things you do to overcome it?
Yes, that is so good. Um, gosh, I think recently, well, I think my top answer for that would be this is where your friends come in, and
Mm,
having friends to process that with instead of just being all up in your head about it.
yeah.
I have a great, I'm so thankful for mom friends. And
Mm,
I mean, even my friends who aren't moms that I'm like, okay, this
yeah.
is going on and I'm feeling like this. And just having them be like, okay, first of all, you're an amazing mom. And sometimes even just hearing
Yes.
that, your heart,
Yeah.
like I
Totally.
probably cry still every time somebody tells me that,
Oh,
because
yes.
you see all the everyday things that you're doing and going through, and it gets familiar. Your kids get familiar,
Mm,
and it's easy to get familiar with the negative versus all the beautiful things that you know you are going to happen, even though you haven't seen like the full
mm,
fruit of it yet.
yeah. Yeah. That's really
But
good.
I think friends to process with, moms who have been a mom longer than you. One of my best friends has 6 kids, and I call her and I'm like,
What?
yes. And the
Wow.
second to last ones are twins.
Oh my
I know.
goodness.
And so I'll call
Okay.
her or text her and be like,
Yeah.
okay, listen, this is going on. Is this normal? She's like, oh, yeah, my fourth kid did that. It's chill. It's fine. Just do this.
That's so good.
And honestly, just reaching out on it, even if it's on Instagram or something, being like, hey, it seems like
Yep.
you like really have a handle on this. Like, do you have some advice? Or find that old lady at church and like never
Yes.
be afraid to ask questions. I ask people so many things. Like,
Oh, that's
it's
so
great.
good.
So I think that's a huge deal. And no one, I have not met anyone who knows me who's been like, hey, like, you should do this different. Or when I come to them, no one has ever been like, yeah, you're not doing that right. Or, yeah, you suck in
Yeah.
this area. Everyone is always so encouraging, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah, that's
even
good.
if there's stuff that I end up changing, I think sometimes we just need that outside encouragement because it's hard for us to see from that perspective.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I think we all just need a friend with 6 kids.
Yes, yes.
Sounds about right.
Her name's Caitlin Chio. Find her.
Oh,
She'll.
yes. I might have to interview her.
Yes, you should. She would totally do
That's so good. I love those things. Yeah, find an old lady at church. Come on,
it.
they always have good stuff to say.
They
That's so
do.
good. Okay, cool. And I like to kind of end with some fun questions.
Love it.
So, yeah, so the first would be like, do you have a product for yourself or your kids that you are loving right now?
Ooh. Hmm. Um. I just finally bought those magnet tile blocks. Have you seen those? That's like our
No.
new favorite toy around here.
Ooh.
Yes. Because
Okay, all
baby can
right.
play with them, but like
Okay,
my
yeah.
5-year-old can build stuff. So that's kind of a fun new thing. Got them on
Okay,
Amazon.
sweet.
Yeah.
And then do you guys have a favorite family holiday tradition?
Ooh. Um. Oh gosh, that's so hard because I feel like I've tried to build a lot, you know. But I think my
Yeah.
favorite is Christmas morning. Kids get up super early, of course, but
Yes.
we just do the whole jammy coffee cinnamon roll thing and do presents,
Mm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
still dark out, and but Christmas morning is the best across the board.
It
But
is. It is the
I think
best.
just I guess for like other moms and stuff, I love having just because we go back and forth to all our extended family and parents and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and I love having early Christmas morning like just us. It's really sweet.
Cool. And then a piece of advice you would give to a new mom.
Oh, so good. Oh my gosh, it's such a loaded question.
I know.
Um, I said this on the last time too, and it seriously is my favorite. This is from our friend Nicholas Howard too, but he says, children drink from the fountain of their parents' hearts.
Mm.
And just knowing that whatever is going on with me, like that is what my kids are going to be drinking. So for me to just be
Wow.
aware of my own heart and what's flowing from it, um, like that's what my kids are going to feed off of, and they're going to pick up on it. It's going to affect them, and not in a scary negative way. Obviously
Yeah.
that can be
Yeah.
really positive. Like if you are a happy joyful person, your kids are probably happy joyful people.
Yeah.
Or if
Yeah.
you like, I love celebrating. I will find the smallest reason to celebrate anything. And like I have
Oh.
my little party decoration bin. They're like, you know
No way.
same decorations, but they know like, okay, we're celebrating. Daddy got a sale, or Cora made it
Aw.
to her next level of karate. And so I've watched my kids celebrate people like on the playground or
Oh,
whatever. But
wow.
that's that's just something that has flowed from me. So just being aware, and like if you have stuff going on in your heart, like sort it out with your husband, with a friend, with somebody that you respect, and instead of just sitting on that, like any kind of pain, any kind of fear, like getting it out and putting it on the table is just, I think, always better. Like even the mom guilt thing, that's a great
Yep.
example of that. And knowing like
Yep.
our kids are going to drink from that fountain of our hearts.
Wow. That's so, so powerful.
So powerful.
Good words.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Erin, thank you so much for doing this again with me
Yes.
and taking the time to share your heart with everybody. I'm so excited to share this.
Yes. Thanks for having me. Finally, we did it.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's interview. Please share this with a friend if it impacted you in any way, and leave a review on iTunes so other mamas can hear the truth that they are enough and they are doing their very best. Be sure to catch up on what's happening in the Mommispace community every day on Instagram at Mommispace. And you can email me at mommispace@gmail.com for questions or interview recommendations. All my love to you, Mama. You're amazing. See you next week. Just to say that I'm the one you love. It's so like you to do the best for one, the best for love. It's so like you to do the best for one, the best for love.